spring. But he hasn't accounted for the drop in landing height. He either should have tried to increase his moment of inertia to spin more slowly, or try to spin quicker and get 2 rotations in. Either way, he'd have landed on the slope rather than tumbled down it. Clever, using a swing to increase his angular momentum and get more height. And using the wall to help him stop. Now he understands angular momentum. But he needs to learn to look where he's going. And if you remember all that, there's no stopping you. All right, settle down. It's your own time you're wasting. Yes, it's time for today's science lesson, where we shine the laser beam of scientific examination onto a specific scientific principle. So, who can tell me what principle the following have in common? A clumsy firefighter. A dizzy kayaker. And an awful water skier. If you guessed hydrodynamics, then well done. But if you said Reynolds number and the way it describes fluid mechanics, then you sound, frankly, unbearable. But you are right. Hydrodynamics is all about the movement of liquids, and Reynolds number basically says how turbulent that liquid is. With enough speed, this stone can skip on water. As it hits the surface, it displaces the water beneath it, causing the water to flow downwards. That action creates an equal and opposite force upwards, allowing the stone to bounce. But as the stone loses speed, that flow slows down, and the upward force gets too small to hold the stone up. So, small-scale flow can exploit Newton's third law to keep non-buoyant objects on top of water, but only while they're moving quick enough. Let's see who's been paying attention with a little quiz. OK, question 1. What happens when a flat board is thrown across a shallow body of water at speed? Yep, the flat, shallow water is perfect for exploiting small-scale flow. But the wave isn't. Question 2. Is there any way of keeping objects that would normally sink bouncing across the surface of the water? Yes, but only with enough speed. As he's quite happily skimming along on his bottom, let's take a moment to remember that it was the French that invented the bidet. His feet skim along the surface due to the redirection of the calm water downwards. But they get too much drag, and he's yanked backwards. Sacre bleu. Now she knows small-scale turbulence. Looks like she's going for another go. Oh, you forgot your board. Question 3. What happens to a skimming object as it loses speed? Correct. They sink. As this boarder loses speed, his board stops deflecting water quick enough to support his weight. Let's hope he's packed some spare salopettes. To get a heavy object to skim, you really need to be going fast. Faster than that. And you were right, Einstein. So that's Reynolds flow. Turbulence, drag, and hydrodynamics. Oh, class dismissed. There's nothing in this world quite as pure, quite as innocent as a father's love. And I'm always heartened when I see a dad teaching his son some good practical science. Here we go.
I did it, soccer ball!
I'm sure you're good at other things.
Here it comes. Ready? Oh!
I remember when my father first taught me about the conservation of momentum. Great days.
Did I bonk you?
Say sorry.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. It'll surprise no one that when you pass a ball, it often becomes what us scientists call a projectile. And here's how it works. Our passer firmly anchors his balancing foot and then chips the ball. It then takes a curved parabolic trajectory determined by the speed and angle of the kick. In flight, the ball also has a lot of momentum, some of which our receiver absorbs with his chest in order to bring the ball under control. The conservation of momentum dictates that momentum can never be created or destroyed, only transferred from one object to another. So as you've seen, key to receiving a smashed pass is to allow enough of the ball's momentum to be transferred to you. Well, he's not wearing the kit, but let's not judge too quickly. Close. Nearly. This guy never managed to get his feet right. He lands on the side of his foot and doesn't get any friction between it and the ground, which when you're swinging your leg around is never a good idea. These kids, on the other hand, look like they know what they're doing. That's the conservation of momentum illustrated as his head is knocked back and the ball bounces off. He seems all right, but he is running the wrong way. Let's see what the older kids can do. Ow, his face intercepted the ball's parabola. Well, twice is just careless. That is going to sting. Damn! They think it's all over. Ooh, it is now. Shh. Hear that? That is the call of the open road. The endless miles of highway stretching on forever. Yup, it's a trucker's life for me. No emails, no persistent phone calls, no deadlines, just you and the road. What could be better? Well, nobody said it would be perfect. In a straight line, trucks are a great way to transport heavy loads long distances. The problem starts when you have to corner. Any long truck has a large turning radius and will need a wide swept path when turning a corner. If the turning's too tight, the back wheels will cut the corner unless you take a wider route. However, this can lead you into oncoming traffic. With their heavy loads being pulled outwards by centrifugal force and their high centre of mass, it can create a large turning effect, which, if you're travelling quickly, can tip over the lorry. Truckers like me know this, of course. It's day one of truck school, but not everybody seems to have been paying attention. Oh, slow down, mate. This wasn't even a sharp turn. But as the lorry was going fast and had two trailers, it didn't need to be. The centrifugal force pushed the load to one side and the cab couldn't cope. Amateur. He's taking that very wide.
Whoa! Mate! Whoa!
Yes, this lorry needs a wide swept path to not cut the corner with his rear wheels. But he's overdone it and is just a teensy bit on the other side of the road. Still just a scratch, I think.
Wait!
Yes, I'd need a cuddle after that too. Yes, I'm sure whoever loaded that truck knows exactly what they were doing. I like the way it's leaning into the corner. That high centre of mass led to a topple in the bend, A little more centrifugal force would have actually helped. At least those pillows will cushion the blow. Yes, my sentiment exactly. Cornering isn't the only problem. Despite their high vantage points, trucks can have poor visibility and lots of blind spots. I think that's one just there. Cars have them too, especially when reversing. Yes, it seems that with a 50-ton truck to play with, there's no end of damage you can inflict. That's gonna take some explaining. Well, that's your lot. That's the end of another soggy field trip through the outer reaches of scientific endeavour, pausing only to laugh at the brave researchers who've given us the answer to the eternal question, why not? See you next time.